Chasing your dreams is stressful. And right now, I'm literally in the thick of it. I'm currently going through a phase where I'm building out 5 sales teams. Five. And it's all going to happen in this month. I got to hire probably about 40 different sales reps. And that's a massive, massive task for me because I've never had to build anything like that before. I've gone from managing one sales team that I didn't even have to do any of the hiring for. I just had to train people and then manage them going forwards to then having 5 different sales teams. I hire all of the people, I train all the people, and I manage the entire process with no help from anybody else. And so it's kind of been a little bit stressful, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a pretty chill kind of guy, right? You can check my Whoop stats, but my resting heart rate is around about 50. I'm typically pretty chill, right? But what I was kind of struggling with today, because we launched one of these new sales teams 2 days ago. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, we haven't got a sale yet from it. Half the guys have been just kind of finishing up, getting ready. They've been traveling and stuff. But we're really getting ready to hit things for for Monday, and it's a Sunday right now. But I've been thinking to myself, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if this is all a waste of time? What if this sales team isn't good? What if we can't sell this product in this certain way? What if we can't sell it in this method? And you get all these questions that go through your head when you have a couple of these days that don't go the exact way that you want to. And I'm thinking to myself, how can I, what can I do to make sure that it can't fail? What can I do? How can I bring this into my own control? Because I can sit here and blame external factors, right? I can be like, okay, well, maybe the people that I hired aren't very good. Maybe the offer that I'm selling with isn't going to work for this. Maybe the type of sales isn't going to work for this. Maybe, there's so many other factors I could blame it on, right? The list is endless. But you can't control much of that. We can try and control it, right? I can interview all the people that applied. I can find the best people out of those and, hire those people, train them in the best way I can. But ultimately, what can I do to fix things now, right? What can I do to ensure that this team does not fail? Now, I actually wanted to create a list of this, and this is exactly what I've done. I've created a small little list here of things that I believe that if I do all these things, then the sales team cannot fail. And I've titled it, What are all the things I need to do to ensure this sales thing wins? Very simple, right? Number one, I put lead from the front. Take calls, show the team a great example. The first point, I think this is important. If you are joining a new sales team and the sales manager is not even willing to get in the trenches with you, do the calls with you, and actually be a good example of what a good call actually looks like, are they really your leader? Right? Or are they just trying to lead? It's like, imagine you're in a battle, right? And the commander is the person who's calling all the shots, saying to do everything, and then it actually comes time for the war, and then they just run away, right? Or they just don't engage in the battle. They disappear somewhere. It's like, are they really your leader? No. Like, they're getting in the trenches with you. They're supposed to have the sharpest shot. They're supposed to be the person that is always going to survive. They're going to be the one that makes it out alive because they're the best trained, they're the best everything else, and everyone looks up to that person. And so me being in this situation, I got to take calls. I got to show them how it's done. And so yesterday I took a few calls, and it's a Sunday today. Well, it's currently 1 a.m. in the morning. Sunday today. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to literally take a load of calls, just literally dial all day, show them exactly how it's done. So that's really the first thing. Second thing is fast feedback loops. If people ask for a call review, make sure that gets done the same day. If there's an issue that arises on a call, I need to make sure that gets attacked straight away. All right, if I leave that for a few days, if I don't do a proper call review of something, these things take a lot of time, but if I don't do it properly, how are they ever going to learn? And if it doesn't happen quickly, then how are they going to learn quickly? I can't expect people to learn quickly if I'm not giving them feedback quickly. So that's another thing. Fast feedback loops, closed feedback loops, same day call reviews, make sure that they can get the support they need as quickly as they can. Number 3 is regular actionable training, right? Every single morning, we're going to do a practice sales call, like a role play, right? Every single morning. Impromptu training, right? If I have a spare hour or spare 30 minutes in my schedule, so I'll just drop a Zoom link into our chat. And from there, we can just break down some things they're struggling with, right? But use my free time for them. And kind of the third part of this third thing is actually be really well prepped for the team training, right? I do 3 training sessions every single week with my guys right now. And when it comes down to that team training, am I just showing up and saying, okay, what are people struggling with? Or am I actually showing up with the game plan, me having listened to calls already in advance? And instead of me just playing on defense, right? Of like, okay, what are you guys struggling with? What can we help with? And everyone's like, oh, I don't know. Me actually going on the offense and being like, okay, I've looked at your calls, your calls, your calls, and your calls, and this is the exact same pattern I'm seeing across everything. This is what we need to attack for today, right? This is the biggest problem I'm seeing. And if we fix this one thing, then all you guys are going to be closing way more deals and we're going to make a whole lot more money together. That's how I need to approach the training. The fourth thing is just increasing volume and the input, right? Making sure the sales team is putting in as much input as they should be, right? We have strict KPIs, $100 per day or 3 hours of talk time per day minimum. And some of the guys are absolutely crushing it, which is great, but some of the guys aren't. So number one in that section is like micromanaging until there's trust, right? I don't really like to micromanage people, but if that has to be done until the point where I trust them, then it has to be done, right? Micromanaging people, making sure the minimum KPIs are being hit on a daily basis, right? If they haven't done enough dials, message them. Hey, is everything good? Is everything okay? Just making sure we're getting the dials done here, right? Making sure we're on track. Is there anything I can help with to make sure this happens? Maybe they got some family issues. Maybe they got something going on at home I need to be aware of, right? But number one is like micromanaging. Part 2 out of that is having like a leaderboard, an input leaderboard. Salespeople are competitive people, right? So I've been making some automations to make sure that every single day at 3 p.m. and at 10 p.m., so kind of a midday report and then an end of day report, we have a report of how many dials they've done, how much talk time they have, so they can kind of compete with each other to like be at the top of the board, right? It's just how sales works. Everyone loves that competition. And number 3 is incentives, right? What incentives can I give these people to make sure that they're putting in more inputs? For example, I'm giving a cash bonus for the first deal that gets closed, right? I'm gonna have more incentives there so that people are more incentivized to actually do the work, get it done. And then the 5th big thing is a bit of fear, right? There was that study that was done before where they basically had like a rat in a tube, I'm pretty sure it was. And at the front of it was some cheese. And they tested like the rat, the mouse, like how quickly it would run towards the cheese when it knew it was there. And it ran like pretty quickly, right? But then they did another test where they put like a cat behind the rat as well with the cheese to the front. And the rat got to the cheese like twice as fast. I'm not sure the exact stats about it, but it's basically to say that not only are we driven towards getting a certain goal, but we're also moving away from the thing that scares us or the thing that we fear, right? In the rat's case, the rat fears the cat behind it chasing it, right? And so in this situation, the fear is like people basically being like replaced, right? And so the way that you can instill a little bit of this, and like I said, I don't want to scare like my people, but I think having a little bit of fear, knowing that people are still going to be on their toes is important too, right? So having new reps constantly coming in, having new sales reps that I'm training up and bringing onto the offer to know that like, hey, you got to keep performing because otherwise there's going to be someone coming in to replace you. And it sounds kind of harsh, but I remember when I was on an offer for the first time, that's one of the things that really drove me. I would see new guys coming in and I was like, I'm not going to let them beat me. I'm not going to let some fresh blood come in here and knock me off the leaderboard. Like they're new here. I've been around for a long time. I'm going to keep my position here. And I remember that was one thing that really, really drove me to succeed. Whenever there'd be a new batch of people, I'd always perform more. And so that's what I want to do here. Keep a constant cycle of reps coming in so that every 2 weeks we bring some people in. Sure, some of them are going to die off. Some of them are not going to survive. But hey, the top 1 or 2 people will end up knocking off the bottom 1 or 2 people that are on the current team. And that way we just breed winners on the team to the point where we're on an equilibrium level of just an absolute team of killers. And the other thing is, just putting people on like what's called a PIP, performance in what's it called, a performance improvement plan for non-performers, right? So that if people aren't performing, they know that they're slipping up. They know there's things that they need to do to improve. And so these are kind of 5 things that if I implement all these things, right, leading from the front, having fast feedback loops, giving same-day call reviews, having regular actionable training, so every morning role plays, having impromptu trainings whenever I've got the spare time, being well prepped for team meetings and team training, increasing volume and inputs, right? So by micromanaging, having input leaderboards, and also by having strong incentives. And then the last thing, instilling a little bit of fear in people too, by knowing there's going to be fresh blood coming in, knowing that there's going to be, new reps coming in behind them, and having performance improvement plans. All these things together, I feel like will ensure that the team wins. And that way the team can make the most money, the offer can make the most money, and I can make the most money as a result of orchestrating the whole process. So it goes back to the video I made a couple videos ago about really what you need is a plan. And this is my plan. And so what I did to action this, just so you know I'm not doing nothing about it, I was about to go to bed because I wanted to get a good night's sleep. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night, and I hit a really hard workout like 6 a.m. this morning. I really wanted to go to bed like early today, but I was sat down making this sheet of paper and I was thinking, okay, well, one of those things is fast feedback loops. And I was asked today by one of the reps on my offer, hey, can you review this call for me? And so what I did is I just was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to review this right now. It's like 12 a.m. right now, but sure, let me just review it. So I sat down for a half an hour, wrote down all the notes about the call, sat down and compiled it all together, put it into our group chat, sent a voice note to everybody so that everyone can actually learn from that. And that's going to give some good training for everybody. So, moral of the story, if you're struggling and you're feeling stressed out, you've got a big project in your hands, you're stuck in this messy middle, right? The period where a lot of people fold. The period where you're trying something new and it's not going to take too much to convince you that it wasn't a good idea. You have to just make sure that you know all the steps that you need to make sure it's a good idea and to make sure that it actually works. And if you're struggling to figure out that plan and all the things that you need to do to make something work, just go the other way. Just think about all the things that you would do to make sure that it doesn't work. Right? Like, how would I make sure that all my reps fail? How would I make sure that this completely flops? Well, I wouldn't lead from the front at all. I would tell people to do all the things and not action it for myself. I would have really slow feedback loops. People would ask for a call review and they'd either never get it or it would take me ages to get it back to them. They get very irregular, non-actionable training that wouldn't occur very often. I would not be well prepped for team meetings at all. There would be low volume, low inputs, no management whatsoever. There would be just full trust given from the very beginning. No leaderboard, no competitiveness, no incentives, and there'd be no fear at all. People would feel completely safe and comfortable knowing that there was no one else to replace them. If that was the case, then I'm pretty sure we could all agree that the team would be bound to fail. So if you're in this messy middle, you're in this period where you're thinking, I'm doing something new, it feels stressful, make sure you come up with a plan. If you can't come up with a plan, make the plan for how it would fail, and then just reverse engineer that. Invert that plan, and that will be the plan that you need to win. So anyway, if you find this useful, I'm just kind of ranting about my day-to-day thoughts right now. And I'm going to make some more videos about this whole kind of process of hiring a sales team, how I'm actually doing it and everything else. But this is just a quick video I wanted to make from something that was on my mind. So if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, like it, and we'll see you in the next one. See you later.